Nicolas Dango. This is Jordi Tárrega from Barcelona, writing for Starway to Rock in Spain. First of all, let me say thank you for this interview and congratulations for your upcoming new album, Masterflow.
Thank you very much.
Can I ask you where are you right now?
I am at home.
It's
We
in
still have the
Orebro,
Christmas tree.
but the city it's Orebro.
Yeah, Örebro, Sweden.
Okay. Uh, well, the first question is why we had to wait 10 years for a new album.
Oh, no, many reasons. I think first, after we did the album before, V or 5, or whatever you want to call it, I think we were a bit tired of the whole thing. I mean, we had for like 2 or 3 years before that album, and I think it went a little bit longer even. We had a feud with our former management, which took a lot of energy and time as well, and like took away some of the flame, I think, and what was fun with the whole thing. And then we got a little bit tired of being on the road and tired of each other, I guess, a little bit. I mean, we had been touring between 50, 60 up to 110 shows per year for around 10 years. So then we took a little break. So I think that's obviously we didn't have any feeling to do music before this, and then we had a break for like 1.5 years or something. Then we came back for Gravity X anniversary tour, 15 years tour. So it was the break was shorter than we thought because we didn't have like a specific plan. We just said that let's take a break now and see what happens. But I think the urge to play fuzz came back pretty quick. But then the corona came, and it also kind of took away a bit of the I think the momentum, I think, because we had just started to play again and getting a good feeling again in the band. And since we lived also in different cities at that time, I think it was even more hard to do something. So after this corona shit, we toured a little bit more, and I think slow and steady we started to get a feeling again like it was time to make a new album at some point. And then I think we said like we should do it, and then nothing really happened. And then maybe around 2 years ago we started a little bit more structured to get together and actually compose stuff, because then we realized that it can't be more than would be crazy to have more than 10 years in between the albums, so we had to start soon. So it's many different reasons, and also it's Oscar had 3 kids in these 10 years. I had 2 more, so it's other things that focus, I would say.
Okay, a lot of reasons, I see.
Yes.
Okay, I want to tell you my favorite song, and the song is The Gorgon. What could you tell me about this song? It's going to be single, maybe?
Yeah, we're gonna put it at the last single now in end of March, actually. So it's coming a bit sooner than the album. It's a pretty straightforward riff-based song, I think. And I don't know, it came from, something made us start playing, and from there we make the songs go and flow. So I think it's a fun song. I mean, the chorus is a really like steady riff, and then the main riff is nice. So yeah, and the song is, I think Oscar said it was about these gorgons, the women that has snakes, and the gays can make men into stone.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, the first single has been published, The Bliss. I love the riff and the groove of the song. I want to ask you about if it was clear that this song had to be the first single, but people have got the opportunity to listen to the song in YouTube and write comments. Have you read the comments in YouTube?
Yeah, of course, of course. That's
Have-
fun, I think. And it seems like most people like it. I mean, someone complained and thinks that Oscar should focus on his coffee, but apart from that, it was only positive things. So it's fun. It's I think it's fun to be back and be a bit. Even though we've been active, I mean, in the sense of playing shows most of these 10 years, it's fun to have new music again now. I think, and it's fun to have this kind of things to check some comments and answer fans and messages and get a bit more uh, up to date somehow. I think in the consciousness of the fans.
What could you tell me about the lyrics of this album? So, which are your main topics?
Um, well, the lyrics is usually about life and the world and different things. I mean, Oscar also writes the lyrics, but I read them all, obviously. But and on this album, I think there's a few tracks that's about people not being able to get along and they make war instead, which is not so nice. So I think I don't know if it's two or three of the songs it's about that, and but it's the normal subjects apart from that, I would guess. Like once the Carver is about the first guy who started with like what do you call it in English, agriculture to make it like grow crops and these things in a modern way. Well, he was the first, so that not that modern. So and I guess so. It's different topics, and it's about the life and some stories and some things like the Gorgon is about tales, I guess, and more like it's kind of what do you call that? Uh, yeah, when it's about something that's not real, but everybody knows about it anyway.
Legends. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. How can you define your music style? I suppose that every musician hate tags, but journalists need the tags to try to
Yes.
explain to the people how it
Well,
sounds. Maybe some word that crossed my mind. It's stoner, fads. You can continue.
yeah, I mean, we play a very fuzzy rock. Stone rock, I think, is the base of the actual sound, but I think songwriting wise, it's not so much stoner anymore. We try to be varied, and we play some really progressive stuff, and we play some things that's more about the groove, but we don't repeat ourselves too much these days, I think. So no, we sound like a very varied, dynamic rock band with a stoner bass to the sound, I think. But we have acoustic parts, we have mellow things, we have very heavy things. Everything is put together, and we put our sound to it, and everything fits into the album. So no one gets bored. I hope.
I have take a look to my review because I reviewed the album, and in Bad Horse I have write that the Truckfighter sounds a bit like King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. So I want to ask you about this band and the song.
uh, yeah, but those kind of questions is difficult for me because when we write songs, we just we do what comes out at that time from our head, and we do like a structure of a song, and usually it's just a bass and guitar, and maybe we record it in the computer to a beat. So we don't have an idea beforehand to make something sounding like a specific style or band or anything like that. Uh, we just like channeling the the feeling that we get, and it's like the god of rock and roll sends the notes, and we try to get it out there. So it's a little bit hard, but that song it's a nice riff. It's not so heavy. We don't put so much fuss on that song. but it's fun and good anyway. So it's a part of the variation of the album, I would say. And I like the feeling of it a lot, which is the most important thing in my ears. I am the kind of guy that thinks that the music is maybe 80% important, and the lyrics and the vocal is like 20% maybe.
Okay, I have to confess that the first album that I listened it from the beginning until the end from Truckfighters is this one. So I have to say that I love the album. So I started to listen to the old stuff. Okay, and how important was for you the first album, Gravity X?
Mm, well, I mean, it turns out that it was super important, but we didn't really know that at first. But I mean, our hit song "Desert Cruiser" is on the first track, and it's been following us to 25 years now since we wrote it. Even for the first EP, like recording we did, and then we re-recorded it for the album. So that song is the first song we ever wrote together as well. And I think the whole first album has been important for us because it became like a very classic within the stoner scenes, like a classic album that most of the stoner fans have heard or even owns, I guess. We sold a lot of records of that one. CDs and vinyls combined, and yeah, I think super important. We're happy to have something like that that stands the test of time, you know. So even though sometimes you're tired of playing maybe Desert Cruiser, it's still should be happy that you have one of those songs that people want to hear 20 years later.
Yes, my next question was about the Desert Cruiser, because I have seen that is the most played song in your concerts. I suppose it's mandatory to be played in a
Yeah,
Truckfighters
yeah.
show.
I think I remember once when we didn't play it because we planned to play it as an encore, but it was like very little people at the show and no one was screaming for encore, so we didn't do any encore. But apart from that, I think we played it probably every show.
Nice to hear. I want to ask you about the name Truckfighters, a band from a duo from Sweden. Mm, Select the name Truckfighters. Why?
Uh, I think there's not any cool story behind that. In that sense, we found a name that was on some kind of book, I think, like a very from the 60s or 70s. And
Ah,
then we thought, wow, what a cool name. That's perfect for a band. So it's only because we thought it sounded cool. It doesn't have any more thought behind it than that.
I think that I have this book, but I can't remember the name. But I will check later.
Yes, yes.
Okay, time to talk about your drummers. You got a really long list, like Spinal Tap. Uh,
Yeah.
so, why do you change the drummer again and again?
Uh, yeah. It's hard to say. It's not just this one thing that's every time it's a different reason, I think. I mean, the first time Mr. Peso played, then he couldn't really focus on the music. He preferred to do other things, so we had to change. And then Paco, for example, he damaged his wrists because he had a syndrome. I don't know what it's called in English, like problems with not the bones in the wrist, but whatever it's in between the bones. I don't know the word in English, but yeah, it was like a medical condition. So and it got worse when he played a lot. So he physically had to stop playing. Uh, and from there, it's like yeah. Then we have been playing with the band for like 6, 7, or 8 years and something like that. And then I think it's harder and harder for a new guy to come in and get like the vibe and the feeling and the same priorities as we have, me and also. We tried for a few drummers to like include them in the band, but then at some point, you know, one got tired of the other. We thought he should do more. He didn't want to do anything more than playing drums, and so one drummer didn't like the touring bus. You know, it's he didn't like to be on the road as much as we did, and so it's a lot of different reasons. I would say it's not no easy answer to that one.
Okay, let's talk about your upcoming tour. I have seen that you got some cities, but you are not coming to Spain.
Not yet, but later.
Ah, okay. Because on the other hand, you have played in Spain a lot of times, so I was wondering. I'm sure that they are will come again.
Yeah, we're becoming maybe I don't know if we have time this year, but otherwise we will come next year. You know, we're getting a little bit old, so we try not to tour too much anymore. We don't want to lose the fun, and we have families, and we don't want to be away too much.
Okay, time for a original question. I am working in the Popular One magazine. I got my website, but in Popular One too. And in Popular One magazine, we are asking about the most perturbated films that you have ever seen. Could you tell me the three films that you watched as a child and later you couldn't sleep again?
What do you mean? I watched it as a child, and later I didn't hear exactly the question.
Horror films. When you were
Okay,
a
yeah.
child, your favorite horror films, or the ones that you remember you got 9 years old and were absolutely scary for you or disgusting.
Okay, yeah. Well, in general, I didn't think that horror films was that fun or scary, but I remember one at least that I liked a lot. What sci-fi horror, Event Horizon. I liked that one a lot. Uh, so that's supposed to be scary, and it was a little bit scary, but mostly it was good, I think. And what else horror-wise? Oof.
You're not the first one musician that tell me Event Horizon. It's nice to know.
That's for a while it was one of my favorite films actually. I really like it that one. But I think it's hard to remember other horror movies from when I was a kid that I thought was scary or good because I think I didn't watch so much or I didn't enjoy it that much.
Mhm.
So you just get one. Sorry.
It's okay for me. It's okay. No, 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 it's perfect. Okay, one of the most difficult questions. Which is the first album you bought with your own money?
Uh, Nirvana, never mind.
You're not the first one that tell me. So Nirvana was really important in your life.
Yeah, that was insane. I mean, that was when I kind of discovered music for real. I think before that, you know, like any kid, you listen to something, this and that. And my dad liked Dire Straits, and I thought some songs were good, but I also thought like more or less also like at that time, like kids could like anything, you know. But I remember I liked Dire Straits as well, and Roxette, Swedish band, and Europe, of course. But the first album that really mattered to me was Nirvana's Nevermind, which I saved my own money, went up to the city, and I bought it myself, and I think it was 11 or 12, 11, something like that. Yeah, so that was a big deal for me.
Good bands, by the way. Dire Straits. I hate when I was a child, but my father listened to, and nowadays, wow, I love to
Yeah,
listen to the album and write about Dire Straits and Roxette. I was a heavy metal kid, but nowadays, if Roxette came to our town, well, Roxette, Per Gesell, and
yeah,
I
for
love
sure.
to. I enjoy it because takes me to the to the old times, and it's excellent music, I think.
Yeah, I think actually now when I listen to like Roxette, for example, I think it's maybe it's good, even though I don't kind of like listen to that music style anymore at all for a long time. But I can listen to it now. I think like this is actually good, and I can listen to the Final Countdown with Europe and still enjoy it, even though I don't really like 80s metal in that sense. But
Mhm.
There were some good bands back in days. Yeah, like when I listen to some Dire Straits songs still, and he plays so amazing guitar. It's
Mm.
yeah, it's not bad. It's and I remember that my mother had some Jimi Hendrix on vinyls as well. So I guess I heard a bit of that as well, but it was maybe a bit too difficult for me at that time to understand how
Mm.
good it was.
Yeah. Okay. If you have got all the money you can imagine, but to invest only for a show, which tricks on stage would you love to do? Fire, lasers?
Well, I would like to have a track going up on the stage, of course, and
Mm.
maybe a rocket going up at the end of the show, and we fly out away from the stage.
Yes, a track on stage it's logical for your band. Okay, have you ever cried in a concert? Do you remember the song and the band that moved you so deeply?
No, I have not.
So never. But
No,
big
but
emotion.
the first time I saw, well, it's three concerts I really remember, but I didn't cry. But the first time I saw a Tool, that was really good. First and only time I saw Pearl Jam was also really good. And second time I saw Queens of the Stone Age was also very good. Then they played the first album from finish to start. That was a fun show. And
Okay,
after that, they just became a pop band. So that was the highlight, I think.
okay. Finishing. I am looking at your Christmas tree, and I want to ask you about what do you prefer, Halloween or Christmas?
Christmas, definitely.
Okay. Okay, the last one is not a question. If you can say hello, this is Niklas from Truckfighters. Please check my interview in Starway to Rock.
All right, maybe I should say Mr. Dango because that's what
Oh,
people
yeah, yeah, of course.
know. All right, I will do it. Hello, this is Mr. Dango from Truckfighters. Check my interview on Stairway to Rock and Roll. Stairway to Rock, you can edit it. Rock and roll.
It's excellent, I think. Okay, I love to listen to that you're coming in Spain in a near future. So I will be there watching the band. And thank you for this interview.
Thank you. All right, have a good night.
Bye.
Bye bye.